I'm too far forward. Hi everyone. I hope you had a wonderful last week. I did, technically, but I am currently in a flare-up. Not fun. But I still feel well enough to make a video with all of you, but it's gonna have to be a sit-down, just chit-chat video because I hurt. But I enjoy making these videos, so. We have Finn, just off camera here. You can see his toes. He's napping. So I thought it was a good time to make this. So I have been wanting to talk more about the mental health side of being chronically ill. So I kind of want to open that conversation up today. Basically, the last couple of months for me have been a lot of focus on that, which has been very nice. And I'm now at a point where I feel pretty comfortable talking about it. I've brought it up in videos, but I feel more comfortable actually sitting down talking about it because I don't like talking about it while it's actively happening because, well, I don't have really answers or anything that feels like productive conversation wise versus when it's over or nearly over or just nearing a conclusion. I feel like we can actually discuss, converse, if you will. So, like I said, I'm in a bit of a flare up this week, and I've been in like little flare ups ever since Vlogmas, which I always expect to be in some sort of flare up during Vlogmas because stress. Stress makes everything worse. I've realized quite a few things from this Vlogmas. I always learn a lot during Vlogmas. Sometimes it's about content, sometimes it's about myself. This time it definitely was about myself. One of the things I've come to a very weird realization of is how stressed I make myself. So let me explain. Basically, if you're chronically ill, you understand this, especially around doctors and things. You get a lot of feedback about being stressed and that it's all just stress, it's all in your head, and you need to de stress and everything will magically be better. Which is not true. And I definitely, that is not this video, to be clear. I am not here to tell you that stop stressing and all your pain will go away. That's not how that works. I am very aware of that. But there is a mental health component to being chronically ill, and it's not that your mental health is making you sick, it's that your sickness is causing your mental health problems. At least it is for me. For those who don't know, I was diagnosed with skin cancer when I was 12 back in 2014. I had a surgery. I got it all done. Tear on my face. This year will be 12 years of recovery since all of that happened. I've been doing a lot of reevaluating my life in general, especially after last year, because last year was my first year out of school, no classrooms, no teachers, no nothing, just me and figuring things out. And I essentially took what I have been calling a gap year, where I really just focused in on seeing doctors, seeing specialists, and getting tests done and figuring a lot of things out, which was helpful because I did get a lot of answers, or at least I've gotten a lot of progress towards answers, which has been really rewarding. But now that that has been really handled, like for the most part, I have a lot of answers, and if I don't have answers, I have things that I can do to get them, or at least things to help. So a lot of my physical health problems have some sort of reasoning. So, like with my flare up right now, I know it's because of basically, I know that this isn't anything I did specifically. Like, it's not because I ate something wrong or I did something wrong. This is just a flare up because sometimes you just get a flare up. And knowing that has been really nice and helpful for me to differentiate when I mess up and cause a flare up versus when flare ups just happen. But now that I don't really have to stress over all of that, I've basically opened up room to figuring out and learning why these things started. And there's a lot, especially with my specific chronic health conditions, stress does play a factor. I'm not going to pretend that it doesn't. I've seen a lot of people online talking about, because I have POTS and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and a mild form of gastroparesis and MCAS, for those who don't know. So for me, a lot of that started around my cancer. Not necessarily like I got the surgery and then all of these things happened. It wasn't the surgery's fault, to be clear. It was the stress of being 11, 12 years old and learning what cancer was, learning that I had it, and that I might need to have a big, scary surgery and a lot of scary health treatments and medications and radiation to make it go away. That is not something a 12-year-old can handle. And I didn't. I pushed it down. I pretended it wasn't happening, or at least I tried to. Because I remember back then what I really wanted was to tell my friends about it, tell them that I was having the surgery, but don't tell anybody. I wanted it to be as normal as possible. But unfortunately, that did not happen because somehow one of my teachers ended up finding out about cancer. I still have no idea how. And she ended up outing it to the entire school. And so instead of being able to pretend that this surgery wasn't happening and let myself process it in my own time, everybody learned about it all at once and proceeded to bully me for the next 6 years. So maybe that has something to do with it. I can laugh about it now. Again, it's been 12 years since the surgery. I can laugh about it now. Looking back now at everything that I remember from that time, because that's another thing, is I actually don't remember those 6 years that happened. But I remember bits and pieces. Some years are clearer than others, like my junior and senior year of high school are fairly clear, because I started actually looking at my health and addressing a lot of stuff, so those years are a little bit more clear. But there's like huge gaps of time that's like I don't even know what happened. I have no memories. Been snoring since the break. I don't know if you can see his paws, they're moving, he's dreaming. Very important interruption. I've also looked at a lot of the things that I do remember from how people treated me around that time. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that either completely walked away after learning about my cancer, people who stuck around but stood on the outskirts of my life and never really wanted to acknowledge or address the fact that this happened, and of course, the people that I've talked about a lot that saw it as a way of taking advantage of a vulnerable person, vulnerable kid. And all I really wanted, little me wanted, was for somebody to acknowledge outside of my family that my cancer happened, that the surgery was real, and that fear is real, and that I was in fact sick. I can maybe name one person who did that. And she was somebody, the one person, she also had her own disabilities, a lot of which ours overlapped, which is why we became friends. It's because we basically got to trauma dump on each other about everything that was going on, and it was very helpful for both of us because one of us would get a problem, we'd see a doctor and be like, hey, I tried this and it helped, you should try this. It's like, okay, I'll try it. That was great. But yeah, outside of her, nobody really wanted to talk about it. And in the moment, I don't remember feeling like I couldn't quite figure out why I felt the way that I felt. I just knew that I was different. For those who don't know, I am a writer. I've always been a writer. And so I have a bunch of like little short stories from this period of my life, which is how I have some of the memories that I have, how I can piece a lot of things together from that time. And I remember I wrote a story called The Girl with the Mask. And basically, I was talking about how I felt like I was walking through the world with this mask on, that I was pretending to be somebody that I wasn't to be around other people. I didn't know why I felt that way at the time. I just know that I did. I know now, looking back 12 years later, that my disability was a huge reason why. Or the reason why, I should say. Because everybody around me knew about this. Everybody knew that I was sick. Everybody knew that I was the cancer girl. That's literally what they called me when they didn't really know much about me. It's like, oh, that's Izzy, she's the cancer girl. So everybody knew that I was sick, but nobody wanted to acknowledge it. Even people I tried to be friends with didn't want to acknowledge it. They wanted me to be an able bodied person, and I just wasn't. It's weird looking back now just how much that alone affected me. And it isn't until I got out of high school and I've now been kind of in my own little world here that I realize why and where it's affected me and all of that. One of them is my work and how I view my own like worth and value, because when I was in school, because I didn't have any accommodations, no 504 plan, no nothing, I was expected to work and do everything like every other kid. When I could really use time extensions and quiet places and the ability to miss school. Oh my god. I'm sorry, the roof just let go. That scared me. Oh, oh my goodness. It scared us both. Okay, Pumpkin. Yeah. You can go back to sleep, honey. It was just the roof. No, we got hurt. Well, okay. There's nothing, and the roof let go in front of my window. There's nothing, like, underneath there except the backyard, so we're good. Nothing would have gotten broken. We're all okay. So, back to what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted. So, yeah, I was forced to work like every other kid when I really needed more help and support than the other kids. Because of that, I've recently realized that I force myself to do things the way able bodied people do them when I really shouldn't. Like, I give myself specific days to work. The like specific days, also specific time slots where I work at like 12 to, I don't know, 6 p.m. or something. Like, plenty of time to get the work done, but not acknowledging the fact that I might be in a flare up that day, like I am today. I might be struggling in the morning, but completely fine in the afternoon. And so I've spent a lot more of the roof just like, oh my god. It's warming up, in case you couldn't tell. It's the third time, and the second time in this video, but it's the third time this happened in the last half an hour because it let go right before I started recording too. So, my goodness, you need to be curled up with your penguin. I know he keeps making loud noises, and Finn's not happy. It's okay. He's gonna be okay. No one worry. I keep getting interrupted. What I want to say, because I honestly don't remember where I left off now, is I've been re-looking at the way that I basically do everything in my life and really starting to put myself first, which is also something I struggle with. Because of everything that happened with my friends in the past, I've become very much a people pleaser when I was a kid. I didn't want to make anything worse than the way that they were treating me. I also didn't have a way of making anything better. And so if I just stuck to letting them think everything was okay, then maybe it would be. It wasn't. In fact, it made everything worse. But it's what I thought because I was a kid, I didn't know any better. But I'm an adult now, and I do know better. And I know that being selfish is okay. Doing things for yourself is okay. So I've really been kind of taking away any expectations, anything I felt like I knew about working or anything like that, and just trying to figure out what actually works for me. And basically, I've been living on the philosophy of energy efficiency, not time efficiency. So, I recently had a work day that kind of encapsulates this really well, where basically I wanted to get my laundry done because it was, piling up. It was laundry day. I was running out of clothes. I needed to do laundry. But I also needed to edit a video. It's the last video I edited, actually. And the laundry is a very difficult task for me because it's down in the basement. It's a lot of walking. Folding the clothes is a lot. It just takes a lot out of me. And editing, although it's just sitting on my computer, can be really painful after a while. I can't sit for very long. Hence why these videos are usually like 20 or 30 minutes because I can't sit very long. You can tell I'm hitting the 20-minute mark. My brain's starting to go. So usually when I would do this, I would start one load of laundry, come upstairs, start editing during the in-between time, stop editing, and go get the laundry, continue editing, and do that until both tasks are done. However, although both tasks do get done doing it this way, I end up being so fried by the end of it. I basically have to lay down and do nothing else for the rest of the day because I'm not okay. And so I decided, again, energy efficiency over time efficiency. Doing it that way was the most time efficient. It meant that I got everything done by, I think I would have been done by like 4. I started at noon. I would have been done around like 4, both tasks. Time efficiency would have gotten it done very fast. But again, I would have been fried, energy wise. And so I made the decision, let's just try do your laundry, no work, no nothing. You have to eat around like 5 o'clock. So just do your laundry and do anything you want during the in between times. Because again, I needed rest time in between. So do what you need to for your energy and for you. Have dinner. And then just edit the video after dinner. You know it's only going to take a couple of hours to get done. It's not going to take up that much time. That is the way to most efficiently use your energy. And it reminded me of in dance. For those who don't know, I used to be a dancer. One of the things that they teach you is how to sustain your energy from start to finish of a dance. That you start with a certain amount of energy and you end with that exact same amount of energy and you maintain it throughout the piece. It's a very important skill to have as a dancer. It's like, why can't I apply that philosophy to my life? Why can't I start with a lower amount of energy in my day, but have that same energy consistent throughout the day instead of getting everything done all at once at the beginning of the day and then being so fried that I have no energy at the end of the day because I hate that. So I tried it and it was the most productive day I think I have had in years. I got the laundry done, I deep cleaned a part of my room, I obviously edited the video, and I did a bunch of like small little tasks around my room that I hadn't been able to do. And like I said, it was the most productive day I've had in years. And that really solidified for me that sometimes you just need to prioritize energy efficiency over time. That's been the most helpful for me right now. So, I think that is it for me. That's kind of where I'm at. I've been really taking a step back. This is going to sound really weird, but I've been really reevaluating the fact and reminding myself that you are disabled and you need to treat yourself like that instead of expecting myself, I should say, to do the things that you see able-bodied people do online or you see them do, whether it from like simple things like the way that they cook food and the way that they prep food to going to the gym consistently because I can't do that. Just literally everything. And it has been an interesting month, especially because we're only in February. It's taken a lot of self-trust and self-love to get to this point. And although it's definitely highly unconventional if you're looking from the outside in, for me on the inside, I don't think I've ever felt this like content and happy with myself in years. So I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna keep discovering new things about me. I hope you come along to discover those things. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. On screen now are my social media handles if you'd like to see more day-to-day things that I get up to. And with that, I will see you next week for a brand new video. Bye. My back hurts.